I'm really excited to be here today, and I want to thank EFPA for organizing this first regional event, bringing together social enterprise experts, but also government representatives and colleagues, and so many others who are interested in business in initiatives with a strong social impact. Perhaps it's really not bad that we start this discussion, because we are living in a country that went through really very hard times last year. Not only the COVID crisis that heavily affected the country and had naturally serious social impacts, but then also the war and the outcome. And so it is, I think, very timely for Armenia. This is the first of the 3 regional social enterprise events organized by Collaborate for Impact Project, and it is our hope that these events will inspire and encourage social entrepreneurs, private investors, and government representatives to explore how social entrepreneurship and social investment are developing in the Eastern Partnership region, to discuss the key challenges but also the opportunities. And I want to underline, there are many opportunities. This is, for us, an exciting new project. We have high expectations, and the many initiatives that EFPA and the leading social entrepreneurs in this region already have in their pipeline. I think we learned in Europe that social enterprises are driven by a growing recognition of the role of social enterprise playing in tackling societal, community, and also environmental challenges and fostering inclusive growth. And it cannot be underlined strong enough that only an inclusive society is a strong society. So social entrepreneurship is a fast-growing movement that uses the tools of business to create positive results for society at every level. And one of the new entrepreneurs in the European Union is now a social entrepreneur. This is even more important during this recovery period from COVID, and we need more mission-driven, purpose-driven and inclusive companies to move the business but also the society forward. And I reject always the idea, if we talk about economic recovery, that we only see the economic side. It has to be social, and we have to take the most vulnerable on board. The EU delegation here in Armenia has supported social enterprise development for more than 5 years, and we are proud to have been part of the explorative journey so far. And we believe that social entrepreneurship resonates well in the Eastern Partnership region. We are looking forward to supporting new social ideas, businesses, similar to my favorite, the Inclusive Bakery and Cafe established in Gyumri, Armenia, with EU funding. And if I may add one personal sentence, I was before in Belarus. In Belarus, we have a wonderful project which was called Inclusive Barista. So I still miss Sasha and the colleagues, and their dream was always to have a cafe. So I arrived in Armenia and I see here we realized this idea. And I can share with you that the great idea is not to include people with disabilities. It was giving women with heavy handicapped children a chance to find a job and also to find an environment to discuss their problems. So this is one of the great examples of social enterprise that was really created towards empowering people with disabilities. We have supported many other civil society organizations and new companies to venture out in this first unknown territory of social entrepreneurship and to learn for themselves what it is to take to establish a successful business with a strong social agenda. And we are extremely glad that Collaborate for Impact initiative will build on the existing work and experience and takes it hopefully certain steps forward to see even more businesses taking off and creating a better environment for the society and for the businesses to grow and to expand in the Eastern Partnership. And it would be my dream if we could do it cross-border so that we also share the positive examples and even to show that you can go this way under very difficult conditions. And this is addressed to my former country. Compared with our previous engagement, this project has a much stronger focus on incubation of business ideas and acceleration of these businesses that prove successfully into large market shares, profit making, and supporting them in a hopefully more resilient way to shocks. And this is important when thinking through a business. That there is normally quite, this is quite far from waking up one beautiful morning with a brilliant idea, and then the next day you open your doors of your new physical or online business and everything goes well. So I want really to encourage talented civil society leaders and aspiring entrepreneurs to really build a knowledge platform to test, to develop, to grow their social business ideas into profit-making businesses, which have really then a very positive impact for the society. We all know that the world of tomorrow will be different. We learned through the COVID crisis, we have seen it in all our societies, in all our economies. And there will be a need to reinvent and rethink a sustainable and resilient Armenian future, to build companies who have an impact-driven approach, who think green. That's the other element I think is very important. So social and green, these are the two elements that can bring us out of this crisis. And the modernization of the business environment is in motion in many of the Eastern Partnership countries. And we really hope for really innovative and cross-cutting new social enterprises that will inspire also other business leaders to think out of the box, to spend more time and how they can integrate stronger elements of corporate social responsibility and social inclusion in their businesses. And this addresses also the governments, because we need governments that strongly support the idea. We have to think out of the box. We have to develop strategies and not only think in small little measures. So this is, I think, something that will bring us forward. And may I say before I finish, this is also naturally very near to my heart. I'm really excited about the gender balance of this event. So it is very encouraging for me to see so many female names, experienced, professional and impressive women. And let's use this also as a possibility to empower women, because I think we have a spirit And sometimes, not everybody, I don't say we are the better human beings, but we have sometimes a feeling for the needs, and this can play an important role on this way. That's why I'm really hope that all of you are having a lot of experience, having fun, because sometimes this also helps, that you will have a fruitful few days of discussions, and I'm really looking forward to learn more about your recommendations, and I would love to see many social enterprises coming out of this initiative. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ambassador. This was really fantastic. We actually had a discussion internally at EBPA that this is almost a women-led event. Very strong women team behind it. We have Nazareth that you will meet, who is also in our team, leading actually the Armenian component. But we actually need also more men in this space because it is women are actually, as you mentioned, I think there is a lot of empathy in the social entrepreneurship space, and I really thank you for the words that you say. I really like what you mentioned about thinking out of the box. This is really important, I think, for this project, but also for the work of social entrepreneurs and social enterprises in the region, that they also think out of the box and tackle different issues with this model, but business companies, and we hope that we will be able to inspire also businesses joining the event. So thank you so much again. I really hope we'll be able to meet in person soon in Armenia. And really with great pleasure, I want to give the floor to Bella Nestorova, who is actually representing DigiNear, which is the main supporter of this project. So I'm really happy, Bella, to have you with us. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here, and good morning to everyone. I think that the number of participants speaks of the great interest to this event, and also the enthusiastic greetings in the chat box speak that everybody is very eager to start. So following the very inspiring introduction of Ambassador Victorin, I'm just going to say a few words from a civil society perspective. Because I hold the EU flag, and at the same time, I am very passionate about the CSO agenda and the CSO involvement in social entrepreneurship, in this partnership, and also in the Collaborate for Impact project. I think that many of you know better than me that there are many challenges for civil society in the region, including very high risks of financial sustainability and even operational survival, especially in difficult environments and especially in the past very challenging year. But we have seen that there are also many opportunities, that CSOs have shown great dynamism in searching for their own funds and developing themselves entrepreneurial activities and social innovation. And that we have seen that there are new opportunities that have emerged from cooperation between civil society and businesses to tackle social and environmental challenges, to promote entrepreneurship, and create jobs by working with grassroots organizations. Indeed, with the COVID pandemic and other crises, unfortunately, we have seen a disproportionate impact on vulnerable people, economic recession, rise of unemployment. It is more important than ever that we work with civil society and deliver tangible results to people, and indeed contribute, as Ambassador Victorin said, to fair, inclusive, and sustainable socioeconomic recovery. Thus, promoting social entrepreneurship and cooperation between civil society and businesses has become even of greater importance. Indeed, we have quite a few bilateral programs, the ones in Armenia that have inspired also this project, are involved in this project. We also have social entrepreneurship programs in Azerbaijan, in Georgia, in Moldova, in Ukraine, and other countries. We also work on social entrepreneurship from a youth angle and addressing and assisting young people to become social entrepreneurs. And we strongly encourage regional collaboration and synergies between all of these programs. Thus, the other hope we have for collaborating for impact as a regional initiative is also to lead in the coordination and cooperation between all of these actions. And I think that we have the best possible partner to lead us on this action in the region, EVPA, with strong track records in building capacities for social entrepreneurs and for CSOs, for creating opportunities for them to partner with social impact businesses and network in the region with its local partners. I'm going to leave to EVPA to present more about this action and its implementation to date, but I just want to highlight two aspects that I find particularly important. The first one is that the action will improve financial sustainability of CSOs, the one that I talked about, by supporting them to engage in social entrepreneurship and generate additional income. And here I want to say that we have spoken with EVPA on the importance to pay particular value in extending our reach outside of capitals to organizations working in local languages. And these are also the organizations we would like to reach with our financial support grants to civil society organizations engaging in social entrepreneurship, and also with non-financial capacity building support. And the second aspect I wanted to highlight is the importance to discover the full potential of social entrepreneurship. I think that we're all still on a learning curve of what potential this could bring. And through events such as this one, such as this conference, we're increasing our understanding of social entrepreneurship and social investment. So I think that the common issue bringing us all together, civil society, social entrepreneurs, investors, business community, policymakers, public authorities, is indeed our desire to share and learn more from each other's ideas, examples, and best practices. So looking forward to this exciting event, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bella. Thank you. It is indeed the topic, right? Collaborate for impact, and we need all the stakeholders to join hands. Roberta, you are the CEO of EVPA and also supporting us in implementing this project. And I think it would be really great to hear from you why we as EVPA are moving actually farther east. As I often joke, we will meet with our sister organization, Asian Venture Philanthropy Association, at the border of Mongolia at some point, and we will decide where Europe ends and where Asia starts. So please share your comments with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Eva. Thank you, Ambassador and Bella, and thanks for the trust that you have entrusted in EVPA to help you orchestrate this very inspiring and innovative program in the Eastern Partnership country and Russia. As Eva introduced me, my name is Roberta Bosurgi. I'm a relatively new CEO of EVPA since September. And for those of you that don't know EVPA very well, we are a community of funders, capacity builders, market developers, and over the last 17 years we have worked in the European region to develop the impact ecosystem, bringing together a broad community around really one vision that is anchored in collaboration, as we heard this morning, but the vision of bringing together the philanthropy side, the philanthropy world and the investment world to address the key societal challenges with a sustainable lens. So that's why this program, this project really resonates with the core values of EVPA. That is, how do we foster collaboration? How do we bring together funders, entrepreneurs, enterprises, capacity builders with impact at the center and the core? So we are very excited to build on this experience and to build on this experience in the Eastern Partnership country and Russia, and accelerate already the development of the social innovation. I say accelerate because, as we already heard this morning and I heard from the team, there is a lot of grassroots energy and momentum on the ground and local that we hope to foster and to cross-fertilize, encouraging learning opportunities that are cross borders, not just within the region, but within also this building on the experience from more Western Europe country. We believe that our community in Western Europe can also learn a lot from the experience in the Eastern Partnership region. So we really hope to set up some cross-learning opportunity across the broader EVPA community. And if nothing else, this is really a model that we hope we can export to other geography, because for the first time we have the opportunity to really play a very systemic role in the social innovation space, meaning bringing not just the funder side, that is our core community of impact investors for impact, but connecting it with the social enterprise side, what we call the demand side, and the policy makers, bridging and breaking the silos between private and public and cross-sectoral, all to create this kind of inclusive growth and inclusive society that is now something that everywhere. I think the pandemic has been really an alarm bell and has accelerated even more the momentum behind that inclusive growth, inclusive economy. So Collaborate for Impact could have never been a better name, because collaboration is the only way to address those challenges. And I think we all have the opportunities to do something inspiring and impactful from both an innovation, a financial sustainability, an inclusion of vulnerable communities, on leveraging private sector more centrally into the recovery and the rebuilding. So I wish this team and this community the best of luck. I am really looking forward to the journey that we will have together and to learn together. And I'm looking forward to the next 3 days of full immersion. So Eva, I think, will tell more about the program. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Roberta. Well, I'm really happy also to finally introduce the project a little bit. So I'm also happy that Ms. Ambassador started with sharing with us some examples. So I will move into the presentation of the project, and I just hope that it will be visible for all of you. Yeah. Okay, great. So the title, Collaborate for Impact, as Roberta mentioned, I think it is really the key of this project. And we will be focusing on developing social entrepreneurship and social investment in the region. And I actually wanted to start with 2 examples of social enterprises from Azerbaijan and from Georgia, to illustrate what we are talking about, right? That on one hand, the examples also that Ms. Ambassador shared with us actually showed the sizes of enterprises and the organizations that this project, mainly through the work of our partners in the countries, will be supporting. And here you have an example of a really nice project, because those topics of supporting employment in the rural communities is also very close to my heart personally, because I live in the countryside as well. And it's an excellent example on how a social business, right, a social enterprise or a tourist activity can really be a boost for the economic development in the local community. Another example, social enterprise Dadari from Georgia, also I think really a good case, showing that on one hand, you can create a business, right, that is producing wooden toys for parents who are really taking care of the development of their children. They also want to have eco toys. So this is really a good business nowadays. If you think from the perspective of growing a business like that, it can really achieve a certain scale and probably will need some funding, some capital, and also capacity building to grow and to scale. And on the other hand, it also provides opportunities for people with disabilities or internally displaced people for job, for creating their own revenue stream. So you see those two examples. That what I think is important about those two examples, that in this spectrum of social entrepreneurship, we have community-based projects like the one in Azerbaijan, right, which is in the local village, creating opportunities for local community to engage. And on the other hand, we have also a business that can grow and achieve much larger scale. Both of those examples are important, and both are valid in this context. So for our project, what has been important is this need assessment study that we have conducted among social enterprises from the region. We have interviewed over 160 social enterprises, and it's important, if you look from the perspective of the definition, that those are social enterprises or social entrepreneurs, and sometimes also civil society organizations that perceive themselves as social enterprises, or there is a kind of informal definition of social enterprise in the region. So we didn't follow any particular definition for this case, but it's important that they have this perception. So let me start with the first one. What I think is interesting and also quite typical for emerging markets where we see social entrepreneurship arising, that majority of social enterprises in the region, they focus on those 4 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. So we use SDGs as a reference point to describe the type of activities organizations, or the theme of activities that the organizations are leading. And the decent work and economic growth, no surprise that this is really one of the top themes, right? We see that many social entrepreneurs that are starting in this space actually are focusing on employment of vulnerable groups, different disadvantaged communities. Quality education, no surprise, reducing inequalities, and also partnerships for development, right? So, and when we looked over the 6 countries, because we didn't have a partner in Moldova yet, so we didn't collect the information from Moldova at that time. Actually, those are the 4 dominated topics in all the countries of Eastern Partnership and Russia, so quite interesting. I have put here the 2 SDGs that relate to climate action and affordable clean energy, because I think it's quite interesting to see that it's not yet on the top of agenda, right, of the social enterprises. And no wonder, I think in one of the panels, if you join a panel with Erste Group on Thursday, you will also hear experience of Erste Bank supporting Roma communities in Central Europe. And Erste Bank has an experience that first you need to satisfy basic needs, right? People need to have a job, they have to have a place to live before they start thinking about environmental issues. But I think it is a kind of a highlight for us, also in terms of this project, how we can bring those environmental challenges also more into the agenda, because this is really a global challenge right now that will be impacting jobs, employment, education, and other topics. What is the stage of development of the social enterprises in the region? No surprise for us, we know it, but the research just confirmed that more than 50% of social enterprises are actually at the startup stage, at the early stage. Even this term of consolidation could be questioned, because those are still relatively small organizations, as you can see when we are talking about the sizes of the teams, right? So relatively small organizations, the teams between 4 to 6 people is about 32%. So they are still at the early stage of their growth. This is again another confirmation that the sector is still at the early stage of development. 60% of social enterprises that we are looking at actually have revenue from sales. So we're talking about sales of profits or of services or products between up to 15,000 euros. So this again confirms what size of the organizations, that this is really early stage. Not so many are big ones. However, if we already have examples of organizations that have budget, have revenues from sales up to 500,000 euro, that means that we already have excellent examples in the region that social enterprises can grow and can achieve a significant scale. What have been the challenges for the social enterprises? Of course, the last year has been difficult. I think even business community could sign up under many of those challenges. COVID really influenced the reduction of sales in the projects. Political and economic situation in many of the countries in the region is affecting as well the development of the businesses, but also complex tax system, lack of procurement procedures, right? What we will be talking about also on Friday, how government can play a better role in this space. What is interesting, many of the organizations mentioned that they don't know really how to penetrate markets more deeper, how they can reach more clients with their services, especially the ones, the vulnerable groups, the disadvantaged that could use the knowledge. There is, of course, an issue of human resources, not enough of qualification, too small teams. The enterprises are also looking for funds from different sources. So there is this complexity that people working on the for-profit activity or revenue generating activities have to be funded from other projects. Donors are not talking to each other as well. So that is a challenge for those organizations. And of course, lack of understanding what social entrepreneurship is, what social enterprise is. So there is a lot of prejudices, right? Especially in our region. I'm Polish as well, so I'm coming, also from CEE, and we have those prejudices going back to the Soviet times that, those were only social projects that you can't really make a profit, or the quality of the products may be not that good. And we know already, and I'm sure many of you joining this event, that actually there are excellent products and excellent services coming from the social enterprises. Business development priorities for the organizations, no wonder. Early stage organizations, product development and improvement, how, pivoting, prototyping. This is what organizations want to learn more. HR management, how we can have deeper impact on the target groups. The tailored financial support that is needed. You will hear today at the workshops in the afternoon about the core principles of social investment, and tailored financial support is one of them. And again, we see also a kind of a typical thing for the early stage markets, that many social enterprises are really looking for investment in the purchase of equipment, machinery, building, because they are still at the process of developing their project. What type of financial investor or financial instrument those organizations are seeking? Early stage, seed capital, grant funding. And if you look at the startup community, the commercial startup community, this is actually what in the startup community people would call fools, family, and friends, right? But fools, family, and friends in the traditional startup community is actually a grant, right? Many of the IT startups will probably never pay back to their parents for the money they invested in. So we see it's very similar in the social enterprise stage. To start to prototype, grant funding is needed, but also government funding. There is a space for government, and we'll talk about it on Friday, to be really a catalytic investor in the social entrepreneurship. What is the financial investment size needed for the organization? Small scale projects, early stage, you can see from the picture that we are really talking about the amounts below 50,000 euro per project. And we hope that we will be able to pilot this type of financial instruments in our project as well. Non-financial support, another core principle of social investment. Again, product development, prototyping, you can see sales and marketing, how to do it, how to promote our products, how to reach different segments of potential clients. For me, again, when our team actually were looking at some of this data, we were wondering why financial planning is not that high on the agenda, where our experience and also our members' experience working with social enterprises, we see that actually there is a lot of challenges in managing finance and in understanding planning. So this whole assessment needs that we established, and it kind of confirmed our assumptions about the region and where it is at when it comes to the stage of development. And that's why I think it was super important that in the project and how we collected the data, we did it also with our local partners. The next session will be actually about introducing the partners of this project. But very briefly, we have Impact Hub in Armenia, Education Hub in Azerbaijan, Dobra Foundation in Belarus, CSRDG in Georgia, Ecovisio in Moldova, CILAB in Ukraine, and Nastrechu Perimenam in Russia. And I'm really happy to put here also Dentons. It's a law firm, international law firm, that is actually providing us pro bono support, legal support for this project since the beginning, also through the offices in the region. Key people in the project, the team, as you see, is quite large. We have the EVPA team in Brussels, but also all over Europe, actually, because we are working in different parts of Poland, of Europe, not just Poland. I'm in Poland. And then, of course, we have key people in all the Eastern Partnership countries. I think I was mentioning this a little bit early in the beginning, and many of the speakers today actually were talking about the opportunities for this project. And I think it's super important to highlight that we have local examples, that we indeed, as Roberta mentioned, we want to bring the knowledge and expertise of our investor community, but there is an excellent group of investors that don't call even themselves social investors. And we hope that we will be able to increase this group through awareness raising activities as part of this project and promotion of social innovation. We will be we hope also to engage with the state authorities, share examples of different legal frameworks that are operating in other countries that work. We will be doing different educational events for diverse stakeholders, and also supporting development of venture philanthropy funds in some of the countries throughout the project. So eventually, we hope that there will be an increased number of social investors when the project ends in 2025, but we are not going to leave the region for sure. And then we hope that we will be able to contribute to more collaboration in the region. And last but not least, the last information worth to mention is that really this project is a part of an Eastern Partnership civil society facility financed under the European Neighborhood Instrument. I think it's super important. As you see, there are, as Bella mentioned, there are many different programs that EU and DG NEAR is actually supporting in the region. So I'm really happy that we joined this group of organizations working in the region. So that's it for me from my side.